Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the Black Quant VTF here, T3 Live, and we got a new month coming up here, and if we go to SPY, VXX comes later. If we go to SPY, obviously we're closing in on highs. What we did do though, however, if we don't make it, is this. Start off the month. We do go shooter here, so what that means is we still would technically have a lower high from here. And so if you look at this, we can go like so and draw off that. So we still got this triangle that's below that. So we'd still need to blow through that and get up through there. So the good thing is if we do that, and if we're going to have a melt up September, we've got momentum hammer, potential momentum hammer monthly here in the SPY. If we go to QQQ, Q's go into the highs, somewhat of a momentum hammer there too. But what the Q's did was do this. Slight higher high. So here's the bigger triangle here. Would still doesn't mean we can't get through it. We just don't have any actionable signal there to do it outside of that somewhat momentum hammer. If we go to Apple, Apple did what it was supposed to do. Inside month and up and into the highs. So anytime you get into the highs, then it's uncharted territory and it's straight momentum. No actionable signal there for Apple. If we go to small cappers came back. So you remember small cappers were doing this on the monthly here. Went shooter down but came all the way back up. Now it's hammer counter shooter, and the inside week showed us that. So here's this upper level triangle here. You can see slight higher lows here, and slowly but surely triangling back up. So if it starts powering through here, we're going to see this monthly. This would be above 142.20. If we go to the VIX proxy, this is going to be interesting here too because of the little shakeup XIV. You can see this, how that got hit and then comes back, but now it's in the middle. So oftentimes what we see here is internal triangle just is hanging around doing nothing. But we'll see because we do have momentum hammer here. If we do want to just start rocking again and taking it out with the VIX back down at 10, it might be tough to really get these things going, but we'll see. TLT bonds finally start off a month with a shooter. So we'll see if they can start wiping down through all this stuff if it confirms that. If we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, same old deal, we got coming up, and now momentum hammer again if they really want to juice them. There's only a few things there, but they're pretty tight there, so we'll see. Like Mini Mines is inside on the week or on the month. Boeing is inside on the month. We're going to let some of this stuff break and tell us what's going on. If we go to the trannies outside month and get back in there, so that's our fractal triangle, and there's a whole bunch of lines on the trannies that we can start to redraw. But the question here is, you can see this big formation here, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. So the question in here is this going to hold higher level of taking all these guys out in this triangle in here and start coming up into here. No actionable signal there, but we can take it like we do with the trannies, break it down. Airlines got smacked, but now airlines going to start off inside weeks. Almost everybody, American Airlines, Alaska Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Air, JetBlue, so HA, even Hawaiian Air here. Hawaiian Air here, I'm sorry, it's not inside week. What it did do, remember that was inside month, rev strat month, bam, then down, then goes inside. So the question is, have they taken all these guys out and all these inside months and weeks start breaking back to the upside? We shall see. If we go to Choo-Choo's, Union Pac, inside month, potential inside week combination. KSU, going to start off the new month as potential rev strat inside bar counted by Hamill back in there, rev strat week. FedEx triangles them out down here, comes back, takes the inside week up, just no new actionable signals here. So with FedEx, once again, you take this stuff out, and on a daily, what that's going to show you is this. Lower lows, higher highs, and shooter. So it wants to drop back into the triangle. That's what it would look like. We'll see if we can go. But UPS, here you're going to start off as an inside day. And inside week, outside week. So needs to get out of that fractal triangle, this stuff in here. If we go to XPO, Trucker. XPO Trucker goes inside week, comes back up, and what that does is that forms the potential rev strat month up, and that's above 61.82, and it's there now. YRCW, tough to see sometimes, but here we go, inside month. And it used to be somebody, so I always like the used to be somebody's on the comeback trail. Used to be somebody, but all right, if we go to the Utes, XLU. XLU went to new highs last month. Here, and now starting off inside. I'm not seeing too much there, but SO, would be a hammer counter shooter month, and that would kick in below here if they want to start going risk on and blowing off the Utes below 47.69. We go to VNQ REITs, side-by-side monthly hammers, and we do have some rev strats in there. FRT weekly, starting off as rev strat week, and OHI goes inside week and up to form monthly rev strat with HCN. Monthly rev strats there to keep an eye on. All right, if we go to the XME goes inside month, and so above 32.58, we got XME. And XME, talk about used to be somebody. If these metals are really turning around, all this stuff is really turning around, there's a whole bunch of way up there to get out of here if this is really starting to turn around and starting to take a bunch of this stuff out. So XME getting real interesting here. If we go to gold, and gold, that monthly that was just chopping up here, now trying to resolve to the upside. And the weekly here, oh boy, I think we've been working on this one for a while. Get rid of all that. But you see that inside week to the upside. Silver did the same. And we'll get rid of all this stuff. We go back to gold on the daily. Took out the triangle, went inside, and then back up. And now I'm going to start off the week as momentum hammer here. If we go to GDX the same. And remember that monthly's been like back and forth, back and forth. So the question is, finally going to try and take all this stuff out? If so, we can look at stuff like GG. Which goes inside month, like a lot of these used to be somebody's, and inside month to try and go up there. AU, another one, hammer, we can start to look at stuff like that, and probably the usual stocks, Newmont and stuff like that, and trade your nuggy and even short the dust if they want to pound her to the DK. There's a dust Momo shooter. If we go to just like I said, a lot of this stuff doesn't have actionable signals, and it's hard to trade BHP Billiton the way it is, but just going back, there's been over 100, and it's still at 44. And Rio Tinto, similar type of situation. Volley, we've talked about many times. So, just they could use some actionable signals, but they've been a lot higher if this turn is real. If you go to SLX, which is the steel, and you can see monthly, this thing has come significantly off the lows. It's been a lot higher too, but comparatively not doing as much. But X goes inside month. Nucor, daily triangle looking like this, inside day, like so. And big triangle up in here if we can get through it. AKS to a lesser extent, but going inside day. If we go to RS, Reliance Steel and Aluminum here, this is still a series of lower highs, but if we can get through all this stuff, sets up the Rev Strat month above 74.02. Like so. Alcoa still inside quartering up and just get. So last month these come through. This stuff was good. Just a bit of momentum now going into the highs. If we go to Kaiser Aluminum, KALU, and that's inside month momentum hammer trying to go to the upside, and so it's going into recent highs. It's certainly outperforming a lot of other things over there. If we go to ATI, ATI is just another monthly used to be somebody. CLF, just keeping an eye on this. Remember how much higher this has been. Starting off as a couple inside days right here. And FCX goes inside week here to try and keep expanding this back up, and we know how high this has been. So if we go to the financials, FAS, it is weekly hammer, and it's trying to get out of here, but a lot of tight stuff. And the problem here we're going to have with a lot of this stuff, FAS not quite outside month, but we are having a few, like Bank of America. XLF is an outside month fractal triangle. How do we get out of that? And so, we don't want to micromanage too much, but Here's this triangle here that we got to get out of, otherwise it just kind of meanders in here, so I want to be careful about that stuff. KRE. Here, once again, how are we going to get out of this month without it's going to take a doing. So I just want to be careful when we come to financials here. If we go to JP Morgan, just again here, you see this daily triangle like this, so we can keep an eye on this going forward. But still pretty tight stuff. Bank of America. Here's the bigger triangle, and here's the lower level triangle, so we need to get out of here and get up into that. Once again, here's an outside month, and how are we going to get out of here and not be inside? Well, we're going to have to trade them and see what goes on. Citicorp, a little better potential momentum hammer up in here, but still not too much going on there. Wells Fargo, still the struggler. The inside month and down went to the lows, and we'll start off as momentum shooter, so still Wells Fargo still having the issues. If we go to BK, and you can see how tight this is, but just for reference, you do have the inside month. You've got STI, or is it STT? STT goes inside month, so it's nothing big there. Chubb, we got the insurers, outside month and trying to take that to the downside right away. We've been watching this triangle for a while, so we can see if that goes triangle expansion. No actionable signals, however. Prudential is already getting beat up, and you can see this bigger triangle if you go to the weekly here. And so now we go weekly hammer to try and come back up into this stuff. And so potentially that could be a pretty nice move if we can do it. But we'll see. Go to VSER. VSER's still pretty tight, but it is inside week, inside day next to the all-time highs here. If we go to Discover, DFS, just can keep an eye on this triangle here to see if it can come back up into it, because you do have weekly hammer. It's a higher level than that. And here's your outside bar fractal triangle to try and come into that. And Goldman Sachs, still here you can see this. Still very tight triangle stuff, which makes it tough. Higher high and the lower low. So weekly you're just coming in like this. You do have the hammer. And we'll see if anything comes of this stuff, but for right now, all that stuff real tight. If we go to XRT retail, a little more interesting. XRT weekly momentum hammer to try and come back up into this stuff. We go to the daily, you'll see the daily triangle like this, like so, bam, 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 bam. So the question was this it? And now retail's not dead and comes roaring back through there. So just a little bit more interesting. If we go to Walmart inside day and stuck in trying to get back in this inside bar. It is inside year and up. It was just doji on the week, so I'm not sure there. Costco does go inside week here to see if they've finally, this mess is over and if they can try and recover. It's also inside after and outside, so that fractal triangle would need to get outside of that as well. If we go to Target, and Target goes inside weak, stuck down in this lower level triangle here to see if they're going to forgive it if it's not dead yet. So remember, they took it all down in here, pummeled them down in here. So what is this business in here? How do we get out of there? A little tricky there as well. Abercrombie out of the ashes. Abercrombie goes inside month and goes inside month to the upside. If this triangle has any hope, if Abercrombie's not dead, a little tough chasing her on the daily like this, but it is inside month and up, so we can continue to look for that stuff and how it goes. All right, if we go to Bloodbath and Beyond, Bloodbath goes inside week here if there's any hope, and they've been wailing on this thing for a long time. And so if the retail is not dead, like I said, a lot of the stuff pummeled, 80 down to 27, but now inside week if they're actually not going out of business. All right, but Buffalo Wild Wings, daily or weekly momentum shooter, and this thing has just been horrible, and we'll see if that continues to follow through. If we go to burritos finally exhausted. The shooter just took out this whole triangle down like that. So the question is this a continuation triangle of this where it just really gets pummeled? Or is that it and we can start moving back, try to move back towards there? What we did have was weekly hammer back in, so we can keep an eye on this weekly triangle. Remember, you don't have to pick the hammer, you don't have to do this. It starts moving through here is what we want to know about, so we'll see. We go to CONN. RevStrat week to start off the new month, and that's another, used to be somebody up in the 80s. If we go to DIN, IHOP, we go to IHOP. IHOP inside weakers down in here, and once again, if retail's not dead, 110 plus down to 40 and inside week. Dollar Tree trying to come up and triangle through this stuff here, like that, and like this here. And that's a momentum inside weekly hammer to try and do it. So we'll see if that's got anything in the tank. GameStop. GameStop just continues to mow down and here, taking a bunch of this stuff out. Now you're going into lower lows, and it's an inside day. But we just want to make sure that you know where the weakness is and see if it continues. Hain Celestial, inside month. And remember, this triangle needed to grow, and it certainly did. Here and here. So the question is just another lower series, because if you go back in here in the weekly, you're going to see this. Now, is it weekly momentum shooter, and all this business just made sure all the shorts are gone and they can rip down back through this. So this is certainly something to pay attention to. If we go to Lowe's Corp, and Lowe's Corp goes inside week, and the daily triangle, you can keep an eye on like that with Home Depot and whatnot. If we go to Macy's daily triangle, now it's back in it. And this is one we know whether it's going to stall out after making the slight higher high and triangle back down, or can it start ripping through this stuff and coming back? So we'll look for continuation patterns up in that neighborhood for sure. If we go to RL, another used to be somebody and trying to come back. Takes this 3-week inside pattern here, but you can see how big the other triangles are when you go take it out. Been way up here, so the question is, they just take this triangle here, or can we start powering back up into that stuff? Watch that 3-week break. Ross Stores holds a gap up here, been holding this gap up, and so what that did was finally give you the inside week to see if that Ross Stores can keep coming back. Captain Signet, SIG, and that goes inside week after an outside week, fractal triangle. And here, RevStrat month, hammer counters inside bar. So if they ain't out of business, there's another combination potential there. TJ Maxx, the max for the minimum at TJ Maxx goes inside month. And period. We'll see if it can break through that. Urban Outfitters. Big outside month. And remember, these things, a lot of this stuff been a lot higher. Big outside month fractal triangle to get out of. All this business in here, you'll see this. And triangle them out, and a little steep up in here, but you'll see this. But what that does do is it also gives you the inside week to try and break that, to come back up into this stuff, because they have taken her to the woodshed for now. But like I said, if not dead, there's a lot of potential here. VFC Corp RevStrat week. Here's your monthly, once again trying to come back up into all this stuff. Williams Sonoma. And Williams-Sonoma monthly hammer below all this stuff. So the question, can it come back in off this inside week? So there's still been put in a series of lower highs there. So we'll just have to see if the week is strong enough to start marching on that and take the month. If we go to crude oil, crude oil goes RevStrat weaker potential here. And there, now we're talking if they're really going to finally turn these things around, because XLE having all sorts of trouble for so long here, triangle them out. So the question is, do we finally have something down in here that we can sink our teeth into? Is this going to, there's that weekly like this. Can we start coming back up into that? If you go to the daily, you'll see this. Oh, how it's disappointed, but here's the triangle. So the question is, does it take out these highs and then just start dumping again, or can we start racing into this stuff? XOP, similar like that. And OIH, still really struggling down here. The question is, once again, get back into stuff like this here. Is this triangle resisting going to just dump again, or can it start coming up in here? OIH has closed lower than it opened for 10 straight months. The question is going to take out these lows. It sure could, but we'll have to see. So if we go to Exxon, Exxon been having a rough one, and Exxon monthly does the dumper into there, and now starting off the just some business in here, nothing really there. Chevron, much better as far as those two big guys, but not much to say about what it's going to do here. Monthly, you can open inside of there, so it would have to get outside of that stuff. If we go to APA, and APA, you can see last month's. The question here, we're going to take out these lows. We're going to hold a higher low, and the weekly comes down here. Slight hammer off of this stuff. APC, somewhat similar, except Rev Strat here. You can see how tight these ranges are, and that's going to be our problem here if we can't get them to really start going. Carrizo, CRZO, just getting killed, and now Rev Strat week, inside bar, now hammer, and above the about $14 there gets the Carrizo Rev Strat going to start off the new month. EOG also Rev Strat, hammer counters inside bar, so we're just going to see if we can get back into this stuff and try and take a shot at that stuff. That would be nice. If we go to G4, the perennial pig, at least here, after this dump from $75, at least now, you do have the monthly hammer. And I don't think this is inside, but yeah. Monthly hammer above $12.94. So it's right there if there's any hope there. If we go to Murphy oil, and Murphy just giving us the weekly hammer. And once again, when you see the hammers like this, you'll see take out the range, hammer, take out the range, inside and down. So your triangle like that, and if you look at the daily, you'll see it more clearly, and you'll see this. Bam, bam, bam. Can it start powering back into this stuff? NBL. NBL is one of those guys that did go down and take out the recent lows. Took out the death lows, these things here. Right, so here's your big monthly triangle on there. Not too much else on it, but you can keep that for the record book and see what happens. If we go to SLCA, just another monthly hammer potential if it takes out 28.73. SM Energy was month and down. Now that exhausts, and it's, once again, tight stuff. But it is Rev Strat week here. Inside week counted by hammer above 1390. XEC, one of the big boys here, and monthly. Here's that big monthly triangle. So the question is it going to do anything in here and take a shot at this down stuff and get worse, or use this monthly hammer and start coming back up, and that would take that out at 102.84. Slumberjay, oh boy, Slumberjay goes inside week here. So the question here, like with that OIH stuff, can it hold these lows, come back to this outside bar, which is fractal triangle, take a shot at these highs like this. Here's your slob inside weak triangle. Because if you look at the daily, good God, man, look at this. How are you going to trade that? So your hopes is you can hold that weak, do something like this, and start darting into here. Halliburton. You can see these ranges is so tight in here. Like so, and I believe it's not quite, it is quite a little bit of a Rev Strat here, but when you've got to squint that much, you really want these things to start moving and then hop on and not worry about trying to catch the absolute breakout. PDS, if there's any hope. Look at this. If they're not going out of business, you got your hammer on PDS precision drilling. And you see this monthly, if it did take out those lows, so this technically would be a lower low, which would make the triangle on the monthly look like this, if there's any hope. If we go to Valero and the Refinas, Valero would be monthly momentum hammer to come and challenge the highs, and that's going to be 69.80 when it takes that out. MPC outside month, which gives us this triangle like this, bam, 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 and now it is racing back towards the high. So we can look for continuation patterns up into here for sure. If we go to COG and the Natty, just starting off, nice little dash there with an inside month to the upper. You can keep an eye on EGN there as well. If we go to the IBB, another group that is going to be interesting here. IBB had that nice daily move triangle. So yeah, that worked very nice this week. Had that triangle in the video last week, and bam, and that got a lot of them going. So we look at the monthly. It's, again, if we're really going to go here, and there's a lot of room to go test the highs, and we know the Nasdaq is capable of that. Outside month, so it'd be fractal triangle, what you just saw. Above that, 333.69 XLV here, actually into the highs, and so it's very similar. And that's why when we get that stuff in the IBB, you go straight to the Labu. Oh yeah, bam, that was nice. 65 come 80 on that triangle, so now we got to try and get out of that. But we can look at all the individual names because GILD took off. That was nice. Bam, that triangle expansion. Now inside day to keep that going, and remember that is well off the highs, and so oftentimes it'll stutter step to get up there. It's not just going to crank straight up there, but we'll see. If we go to BIIB, once again, plenty of room to go test the highs. Nowhere near it. We just had one heck of a run and no actionable signals. If we go to Celgene, remember with a 127, how key that was. Came down and tested it. That's the inside year and up. And now just triangles like that. But Celgene here on the monthly, like some of these things would be momentum hammer going into the highs. Remember, with momentum hammers going into the highs, it's got to have full time frame continuity to trade it long. But they can be powerful if we go into heavy duty mode. If we go to Amgen goes hammer counter shooter mode here for the monthly. So if we can get above that, which we are 178.64, then we can look to take out those highs. But no other actionable signals there. We go to Regeneron. Regeneron goes Rev Strat month off triangle support right here. And so it's above that already, kicking in 502.41. Take these guys out, and then we'll start talking about that stuff. So above that level, Regeneron, Rev Strat month to the upside. ABC, remember this triangle here. So the question is right here. They took this out, right? Boom. Take out those slight lower lows and now trying to come back in. It's had a tough time. So now momentum hammer to see if this thing can come back up in here, and you'll see this. Take it out a little bit further. Like so. So I always want to keep an eye on these bigger triangles. You don't always have to catch them like that, to the tick. You always don't have to catch them here, but we want to make sure if it starts racing in here, we're going to get look for continuation patterns for sure. If we go to ALNY monthly, here's that triangle, bam, 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 and now Rev Strat, inside month countered with hammer to try and start taking a shot up into there. That goes above 87.09, which it is. If we go to BMRN tight range for a long time in this monthly, but now what you do have is this. You got this hammer that cleaned a bunch of this stuff out. Not weak enough to take that, which is good. So we come back to everything here that it did take out, that. So the question now, can you come ripping back through here and test that stuff, which would be a nice move. BMRN hammer above that, 90.75. CALA, monthly hammer counter shooter. That'd be above 1670. EW. It's been a little tight here, but what we're going to keep an eye on is this. The slow waka down, right? So if it starts ripping through here, the reason people think wedges work or whatever, well, the reason they do work is like because actually here's your triangle. You see this higher highs and lower lows. But when it comes ripping through here, if you have natural buyers in here, anybody's trying to stay short, they're going to be short against this and this and this and this and this and this, and that's when you can start to see an explosive move. So we can keep an eye on this EW if it starts to move. Go to ICPT. Once again, I used to be somebody here. Damn, used to be up in here. Now, hammer counter shooter month. That goes above 120.40. And as you can see, this big daily triangle. Bam, 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 bam. And if that was it, now it's racing back into here. So we look for continuation patterns up through there with the monthly hammer going to force. IONS. You see this higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. Now, if that plays out again, we can go back up into there, and what you have here on your monthly is once again the hammer counter shooter. There's your triangle, bam, bam, Let's see if we can resolve to the upside. If we go to Juno, man. Juno had that inside month and up and just ripped, and that was great. And so nothing new there except for this. Inside, inside, inside day. And once again, used to be somebody way up in there. And so had a great move. We've got to get out of that stuff, but we'll see how those inside days play out come next week. Captain Kirk's KERX, another hammer counter shooter, and that's above 70.40. Merck, old school druggie, goes hammer, hammer on the monthly. And remember this daily, been watching for a while. So this is a lower series, still taking that. So the question, can we take out this 1, 2, 3 lower series? Come through this stuff and start ripping up into this stuff. Bam, take them out, and confirm that monthly hammer. PBYI. Here's that daily triangle we're watching down into here. We got it. Bam, starts going. Now you got this business in here to see if it goes up, sideways, measured moves and takes it out. And that formed the monthly momentum hammer to try and come back up. Once again, used to be somebody, trying to be it again. If we go to Perigo, oh boy, Perigo, RevStrat, because it's an outside hammer countering the inside month. So once again, if we can get outside of that fractal triangle, above this $80, once again, this thing is over 200, and that fractal triangle looks like this on your daily. Bam, 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 lower low. Here, bam, 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 and then now trying to hold up in here in momentum daily hammer to try and get out of all this stuff, right? Because all these are completely within this bar's range, right? So we want to get out of there. So we'll see how that goes. Here we go to rare PTCT. PTCT, another used to be somebody up in here. Now monthly momentum hammer, and that would be above 21.19. Rare, R-A-R-E. Inside weak, and so if we get rid of all this stuff in here, what you'll see is this. Inside weak. Triangle looking like this. Here. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, inside weak to see if that can start powering back into there. If we go to S-Gen, Seattle Genetics, and this takes this here, this lower low here, comes popping back up. It's on the daily, you're going to see this. Inside day, now still lower highs. We want to see if this can power through and triangle take them out, because if it does on the monthly, you've got that hammer counter shooter again, and that goes above 53.40. Sarepta, SRPT. That's slightly momentum hammer inside month and up above 40.66. Took the RevStrat week to do it, and you can see how it's slowly walking back up. THC. THC, another used to be somebody, and now come back up. Monthly hammer after taking out these guys, right? So once you take out the lows and come back, that's something we want to know about. And that's hammer above 1777. It's above that now. TSRO. And what a mighty run that was. And if this is the corrective activity, now you've got your monthly hammer above 130.72. If we go to TAC, XLK, just like the Q's, TAC, you know, just XLK, just powering into the highs. But here, you look like this. Any new highs like this, we can draw back. See the triangle there. Triangle here, if they want to bring them all the way back, or if it's just going to keep powering into the highs. SMH. Similar, didn't quite take out the highs just yet, and you can see how lower lows and higher highs, but no new actionable signals going on there. So if we go to the big boys Facebook, so this is going to be interesting too with all the inside months. Facebook goes inside month, and so they'll try and power into the highs. Up, sideways, measured move if they really want to get ridiculous on it. That'd be about 173.05. It's right there for the inside month. Facebook, Amazon, backed off, but then goes hammer counter shooter if they want to take it out. That'd be 1,006.40 if it takes it out. If you look at this here daily, see what it did do. It had a chance to collapse and it didn't quite do it. So this bar here, it came all the way back into it, but couldn't take those lows out. So if you draw from this low back, you'll see these things higher. This triangle in here got outside of it here, so not out of the woods yet because it hasn't taken that out. So it would have to take that hammer out, otherwise no actionable signal there. Netflix. Inside month, and a big month to get out of. So it might be a little tricky in here until it can get outside of this month. And if it breaks down, it would have to take this out, or it's multiple pattern. You'd have a better chance of going to the highs. But right now, stuck right there in the middle of that. Google's inside month, and it's also a hammer next to a shooter, although it's inside month. So Google inside month above 957.19. Still, you can see this tighter daily triangle stuff that they need to get out of. Here's the bigger bam, 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 bam. Couldn't take this out. Right, that's good. But now we got this, unless it wants to come down here and take all that out on the downside. But we got some work to do there as well. If we go to Autodesk, inside weak momentum hammer, and that would be above 115.62. AMBA. Puke. And AMBA's had all sorts of trouble here. And if you look at the monthly, this is the big run up, and then they take them out, stop them all out, start puking again. So now this is kicking pattern. This is almost no shadow on the month, gaps down below it on the first. That's a bad thing. So, so we can continue to look for any continuation patterns to go after this stuff on the downside in AMBA. BABA opens in his inside month. He's going to go weekly momentum hammer above 172.90. CAVM Semi. RevStrat month potential here. Inside shooter, countered by hammer and an inside, so that makes it a RevStrat to the upside, above 64.16. CTXS, another monthly hammer here, and the weekly, got a lot of these guys to take out. If it starts coming through here, bam, 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 bam. If we want to take those out in the daily, the big daily triangle looks like this. Starting off as a daily momentum hammer as well, like so. If it starts racing towards this stuff. CY, Cypress Semiconductor, we've been watching this for a while. You can always tell when they got a million lines drawn on it, but weekly, outside weak fractal triangle in and of itself, but you can draw this like this. Higher highs, takes out the lows here. So here's that big weekly triangle in Cypress to keep an eye on. KLAC, 10 core. Monthly hammer counter shooter, and that goes above 94.17. LRCX. Inside month momentum hammer above 167.32. NVIDIA, not doing much, but the gradual move up, and it's still tradable. It's just, how do we get out of this stuff? So you can see this here. The higher high, the lower low, the higher high, the lower low. And so we're just looking for, the problem would be shooter today to see if it wants to come back lower level triangle into this or rip through there. We just don't have any actionable signals. Last week we were lucky because we got the RevStrat to the upside. Now it's got to get outside of this outside bar. 3 week inside pattern in that. Oracle. Remember that earnings were gapped up and now been sitting here, triangle them out, make them slight lower lows. There it is. Now it's starting to take a beat on these guys. And what that means in monthly land is RevStrat month to the upside, Oracle above 50.51. Sanmina, SANM, Big outside month, and then back into that, which gave us this weekly triangle to keep an eye on here. So looking for continuation patterns up into this stuff. SWKS semi. Inside month momentum hammer, and that would break above 106.98. Then you'd want to take that, and get and take it all out. TripAdvisor, still holding on here. And used to be somebody, and remember last month came up on that stuff now. TripAdvisor goes inside week to try and break this series where it just goes triangle them out, triangle them out, triangle them out. Try and take a beat on this stuff. Inside week trip. Texas Instruments. Inside month, albeit a little tight, that would be inside month above 83.69 or below 79.60 would be month and down. Western Digital. Used to be up in here, comes up in here, so now we're middle of the range of this stuff. But the question is this 5 months of continuation pattern, because you can see it very clear, this triangle here, bam, 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 bam. Now we're back up in here, doji. Momentum hammer week if we want to start taking a shot all the way back up into there daily. It's like when you hear me say triangle needs to grow. They get tight and then they get bigger. Bam, 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 bam. Now can we use this to try and take all this stuff out? We'll see. Okay. Just a few more here. MGM still in this daily triangle we've been watching here, so I can look for continuation patterns up into that. LVS goes rev strat month here. Still a little tight, obviously, but always something we want to know about. Inside month countered with hammer above 62.37. Win not doing much, but you held that monthly try, and now just trying to break through that. Daily triangle, it breaks out of this. This is straight momentum, no actionable signals in force. If we go to just a couple of the home builders, Lennar, you can see this, bam, 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 held that and then took it out. So we want to look for any continuation patterns up through here to see if this thing continues to grow. Weyerhaeuser, similar. Remember we were watching it in here, triangles too tight. Lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. Now, the question is going to get any continuation patterns to continue that to come up towards this stuff. Sotheby's bid took a beating here off topo try, down, and now weekly. Revstrat, hammer counters, inside shooter. JCI. JCI goes inside week and up, and what that does just gives you a monthly hammer counters an outside bar. And so what that means is that outside bar is a fractal triangle. The hammer's an actionable signal. If we can get above that, you're back into the triangle potentially to try and take that out. So that would be above 40 bucks. PPG, similar. Outside month countered with hammer. Back into the triangle. Hammer would be above 106.85. Shop. Big monthly momentum hammer above 111.57. Tenneco. Daily triangle to keep an eye on here. Like so. Now it takes these guys out. Now I'm going to look for any continuation patterns that will take a shot up into that stuff. Last but not least, Tesla. And Tesla goes inside day and inside month. It's still rev strat year to the upside. So you've got a ways to take that out, but you can see how much analysis we do with this on the daily. We'll get rid of all this stuff. Inside day. And so you can see this stuff was still above that. Slight higher high in here, and I don't want to micromanage too much, but slight higher highs off of this. Inside day, so we'll take that up and try and take that month out. Otherwise, you can come down here and start making lows off of this. But you can see slowly but surely walking up Tesla. So there's a lot more to look at, but we have a short week coming up, which means we can expect a lot more inside weeks because of less time. that following week will probably give us a lot more information on where we want to be. This is just a blueprint of the new month, and we'll see which ones they want to start breaking. Certainly that IBB stuff interesting. Crude to the oil names to a certain extent, but the IBB certainly in the XRT. And of course, XME and all those metals. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I hope everybody has a wonderful, glorious, safe Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you next week. I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant Edge VTF here at T3 Live.